Hello and welcome everyone. We'll be starting very soon. Just waiting for everybody to join in. Good afternoon and good morning and good evening, depending on where in the world you are. Very pleased that you are joining this webinar today. We'll just get started in a minute, allowing people to join in. Hello everyone, welcome if you have just joined in. We'll be starting very soon. Please feel free to add in the chat where you're joining from. Please feel free to introduce yourself. And let's get started. So hello again, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm very glad that you're able to join us today. Please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from today. You can also share how you're feeling today using an emoji. So let's get started. My name is Madhura Amdekar. I'm a Community Engagement Manager at Crossref. I'm speaking to you today from Eindhoven in the Netherlands. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the first webinar of the new Crossref Learning Series, Building Trust Through Metadata. Via 3 planned webinars in this series, we aim to explore together how rich metadata and Crossref's infrastructure can strengthen publishing practices, improve research visibility, and preserve the integrity of the scholarly record. Today's webinar is the first webinar of the series. It's titled as Publishing Best Practices and Metadata, Crossref Essentials plus DOAJ. Today we are joined by speakers from both Crossref and DOAJ who are going to share with you practical insights on publishing best practices, the role of metadata in supporting discovery, transparency, and research integrity. We have very experienced 3 speakers today, and it's my great pleasure to introduce them. Our first speaker today would be Dr. Sushil Kumar, who serves as a Crossref ambassador for India and is currently publisher at Vyomhans Publishing House. He's an accomplished scholar and academic publishing professional with a PhD in theoretical nuclear physics from Punjab University. He's also completed his MSc in physics from IIT Roorkee. Dr. Sushil has over 17 years of teaching and research experience and has served as a faculty member in physics across several universities. Alongside this academic career, he also developed extensive expertise in scholarly communication and journal management. As the Deputy Dean of Publications at a private university, he successfully established 9 academic journals on the Open Journal Systems platform for the first time, and also founded and served as editor-in-chief of the Journal of Nuclear Physics, Material Science, Radiation, and Applications. He's proficient in managing and establishing end-to-end editorial workflows, typesetting, applying digital research visibility strategies, and his goal is to utilize this expertise to strengthen and modernize the academic publishing ecosystem. Our second speaker is Marina Kovalova. Marina thrives on creating digital environments for others to connect and grow. Her affinity for numbers, together with an extensive educational background, intercultural experiences, and diverse professional expertise, forms the ideal link between data analysis and stakeholder management to drive business development. She's the member experience manager in Crossref, and she's working together with her team on supporting members during their onboarding process and through their membership journey, and assisting with increasing the completeness of the registered metadata, as well as simplifying internal processes at Crossref. Together, Sushil and Marina will talk about Crossref's role in the scholarly ecosystem and tell you more about how you can improve and enrich your metadata. Our third speaker today, and I'm very delighted to welcome Dr. Vrishali Dandaute, who's the head librarian at AISS College of Engineering in Pune. She holds a PhD from Reva University, Bangalore, where her research focused on open access e-resources development in Asia, a study. She's an active senior ambassador of the Directory of Open Access Journals, or DOAJ, and she's deeply engaged in advancing open access and scholarly communication initiatives. She received the ALCTS online course grant for library professionals from developing countries in 2014 and won the INASP Open Access Week competition in both 2015 and 2016. She was invited to OpenCon 2017 in Berlin, later served on the organizing committee for OpenCon 2018. She's also been a member of the Advisory Committee for Open Access Week and serves on the Advisory Committee of Open DOAR and the Conference Committee of FORCE 2021. She hosted the Core Open Access Asia meeting in India in association with UNESCO in 2024. So welcome and thank you to all of our speakers today. Just before we get started, some logistics and housekeeping. Please feel free to use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen to get your questions answered during the session. We'll start with the presentation from Crossref, followed by the presentation from DOAJ, and there will be time for Q&A at the end. But in the meantime, please continue to ask your questions using the Q&A function. You can also use the React function to share emojis during the presentation, to show your feedback for the presentation, and to our speakers. The session is recorded, and I hope that this will be an enjoyable and productive meeting for everyone. And we expect everyone to hold to the Crossref code of conduct. You're also able to use this function to show captions, and the webinar will be conducted in English. With this, let's start with the first presentation titled Beyond Identifiers, the Value of Crossref Metadata. Here's a brief overview of our agenda today and the topics that we are going to cover. With this, I would like to hand it over to Sushil, who's our first speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Madhura, and welcome you all in this webinar where we will learn about the metadata and how basically we can use it in a different way. So first, let's start with a broader overview of Crossref. What's our mission and why do we exist? What do we envision for the scholarly community? So the mission of Crossref is to make research outputs easy to find, cite, link to, and reuse. It's non-profit membership organization that exists to make scholarly communications better, just as simple and as complicated as that. What do we envision for the scholarly community? What's the end goal for our mission? And we see is a rich and reusable open network of relationships connecting research organizations, people, things, and actions. A scholarly record that the global community can build on forever for the benefit of the society. But what does that really mean? Well, as you know, Crossref members are able to register a persistent identifier, a DOI. We will discuss about it into the next slides. And a metadata record for that content they publish, and we then make that metadata available for the global scholarly community through our open APIs. But how does it work? Next slide. So organizations who publish scholarly content join Crossref and commit to membership terms. Crossref provides them with the DOI prefix and they use this DOI prefix to create a unique DOIs for each item they publish. Each DOI works as a both a locator for that published item. What do you mean by the item? Items are the research article, research books, or the blog, videos, and policies. There are so many academic content we are defining here item and a container for a record of metadata for that particular item. So we will be talking about the later in more detail about these things. So the next slide. Here, all the metadata available with the Crossref can be accessed using our open APIs. The REST API is relied on by a large part of the research information community and beyond, seeing around 1.8 billion requests each month. So this number is tripled in the last 5 years, and Crossref members are the heaviest users, using it for all kind of information about their own records or picking up connections like citations and other relationships. Databases, discovery tools, libraries, and government all use the API. Research groups use it for all sorts of things such as analyzing trends in science or recording retractions and corrections. So the chances are high that almost any tool you rely on in scientific research has somewhere incorporated metadata through us using this TOI. Metadata and the relationship between research objects and entities can support the whole scholarly research ecosystem in many ways, including number one, research integrity, helping to provide signals about the trustworthiness of the work, including provenance information such as who funded it, when and for how much, which organization and people contributed what, whether something was updated or corrected, and whether it was checked for originality. All of these signals can be expressed through Crossref metadata. Number second, reproducibility, helping other to reproduce outcomes by adding relationship between literature, data, software, protocols, and methods, and more. All of these relationships can be asserted through members' ongoing stewardship of their Crossref metadata records. And number three is the reporting and assessment, helping organizations such as universities, funders, government to track and demonstrate the outcomes of investment, provide benchmarking information, so compliance with funder mandates, and decide what other research to fund. So this kind of information can be included in Crossref metadata. And number four, discoverability, helping people and system identify work through multiple angles. Registering content with Crossref makes it possible for work to be found and used. Thousands of systems use Crossref metadata. Therefore, the richer the records are, the more visibility there is likely to be your work, your research work, those items basically. So including metadata like abstract and references are very simple ways to increase the visibility of your records. And by this way it is helpful. So next slides. So with this background, let us take a look what DOIs are and what they are not. Next. Now we are going to discuss about to this DOI, what is it, what they are and what they are not. So many people associate Crossref with DOIs. So for it's important to understand and remember that Crossref is not just about DOIs. We are not defined by a particular service, but by how we support the academic community as a whole. DOIs are not an indicator of the quality of a publication or the organization that register it, nor is it a mark of quality of the research submitted. A DOI is a persistent link and identifier for a content item. That's why we call it persistent identifier. So this is the structure of a DOI, which you can see here. A DOI is composed of the three sections that marked by the different color, red, blue, and yellow. The red part is the resolver address given by the Crossref. Each DOI is an identifier, but also an actionable link, which means it is resolvable in any browser. The blue is the prefix, which is assigned to each member when they join the Crossref. The yellow is the suffix, which is the part of DOI assigned by the publisher and is unique to each content item. And most of the times what the publisher they do, they just provide the name, initial name of the journal, volume, issue number, and page number in this way. So how basically Crossref provide it? So when you join Crossref being a member, you are assigned a unique prefix for your account. So in the format of 10, which you can see here, then 10.5 digits. Earlier it was 4, and now after the 2012, these are 5. So 13003, this number after the 10. So some members have one publication and some have multiple. One prefix may be used to register all of your content, whether that is a single journal or a multiple journals or single article like that. Even you publish different types of contents, as I have mentioned into the item, whether that is book or journal or proceedings of the conference or blog or the video, whether any type of the item. There is no limit to the number of DOIs you can create, nor is there a minimum number required. DOIs can be registered at any time if you have this prefix being a member from the Crossref, you can give the DOI to any item. So we receive many questions from new members about creating a suffix for their DOIs. Suffix are best when they include short strings that are easily displayed and typed and are opaque. This is to say that DOI itself does not need to have any meaning on its own. So DOI suffix does not need to state anything about the item. It is identifying. That's all done with the metadata you register with us. For example, information such as ISBN or page number should be included into the metadata, not as part of the suffix, as I have mentioned, to make it more simplified, right? So there is no need to mention the ISBN, ISSN here into the DOI. Just mention the initial of the item which you are using and the volume if there is, and page number or like issue number. So keep it as simple as you can. And there is no constraint because these suffixes are insensitive in any way. You can use any number. You can use the hyphens or parentheses. So anything you can use here in the suffix, right? So this is the important point, and you have to keep your structure as simple as it could be. So the next slide is. So when member register a DOI with us for a specific item, when we are mentioned here a specific item, it might be a journal, it might be a book, it might be a conference proceeding or like that. So they register the DOI string itself, uh, the prefix and your unique suffix, but they are also register a metadata record. And for the metadata record, we will discuss into the next slides, basically what we our requirement. Information about the item. The metadata record include the URL where you can find that item plus lots of other information. In the case of journal article, this would be the journal, the article title, the author name, affiliations, and there are so many things basically associated in general, abstract and references that help you for the visibility of your research article. So there are a few different ways for members to register to the DOI and metadata record with Crossref. Some of you here use the OJS platform to host your content, and there is actually a Crossref plugin to help you register your records. Then there is no problem. You just provide the DOI number there, prefix, and then after define the suffix. So it automatically, basically the plugin of the OJS generate the DOI number for that particular article, and it automatically submit to the Crossref, and it is more useful. And the another way is of the Crossref form, registration form, and here you can provide the information about to the book as I have mentioned earlier in any item basically. So you can fill that registration form. So there are two more important ways to submit the XML data to the Crossref to get or to assign the DI to the relevant term. So once you have registered your DOI, it can act as a locator. If you paste it into a browser, it will resolve to the URL that you included in your metadata record. So this is the very technical terms, those who are new for this one, that the DOI is totally different from the URL. But when you type the DOI in any browser, that time what happens, it opens your content, your item, basically, right? So why? Because when you are submitting this XML file, that time you have provided that URL against to the DOI, which is assigned to that particular article or chapter or like this one. So once you have registered your DOI, it can act as a locator, right? So, but more important than that, the DOI can act as a metadata container. So it contains a metadata recorded in consistent machine readable format that's then openly shared the whole globally scholarly community through our free APIs. Anyone is able to use Crossref API to access these metadata records. So in the next slide, basically, we have shown the cycle, basically how one can update the information using the OJS or like that. But there are some misconception also uh, about to the here about to the DOI. So into the next slide, uh, here, what are the misconception about to the DOI? So an identifier of who publish the content. Publishing organization can merge or titles can be transferred to the another publisher. So when this happens, the prefix of the DOI does not change. This is to maintain its persistence and ensure links to the content don't break. So while the prefix may align with the member who published a piece of content, this is not always the case. So a mark of quality. Often people assume that having a DOI says something about to the quality of the article or the publisher. However, this is not the case. We do not assess quality of any content, and a DOI is simply a persistent link to the location of a content item online. Right. So similarly, it is not a way to get index into the specific database. Many times you might have seen that people mention that it is indexing into this one and that one. So this is kind of misconception into the scholarly community, and we are making it very clear that this is not the part of it. So it may be good practice if you are using or even a requirement of a specific database for your work to have a DOI. But as in my previous point, a DOI is not a mark of quality of research. Right. So through it, basically, you are providing the visibility to the your items in terms of the research article you have seen and I have discussed into the last slide. So finally, a DOI is not a magic, unfortunately. Your Crossref DOIs need to be maintained with the URLs updated if when content moves and updated with additional metadata when available. Right. So this is the point, and you should not worry. You just update the URL if you are changing the platform and URL changing. So just resubmit the data with against to the DOI that this is the new URL, and Crossref will update it automatically after few hours. So next slide. Now to the Marina. Marina, over to you. And this was the only part which I have to say. So thank you. Marina, please.
So much, Dr. Sushil. Yeah, now we're going to talk more about metadata and what is it and why does it matter. I do encourage you to let us know if you have any questions by dropping them in the Q&A box, and we will address them later after the presentations. So as a Crossref member, you know that you register unique DOIs for each item you publish. You also provide a rich metadata record. And alongside this record, the richer the metadata you provide to us, the better. And this will be a theme throughout everything we're talking today. Rich metadata is really important to us and for making connections between records, as also Dr. Sushil has previously mentioned. So as a Crossref member, you also display this DOI on a unique landing page for that published item. These unique landing pages should contain the full bibliographic information so that the end user can verify that they have been delivered to the correct item when they click on the DOI link. The DOI should also be displayed as a URL on your landing page, so they can just copy and paste it everywhere they want to. And finally, on this unique landing page, there should be an easy way to access the full text of the content. And just a reminder that it's not a good practice to link directly to a PDF, because doing so will lead to the PDF to download when the DOI is clicked, and we really are looking for the page with some basic information about the item. It is very important to keep this metadata record associated with the DOI up to date. And for example, the clear instance of this would be updating the resolution URLs for landing pages when they move or update, which can happen over time. So what metadata are we actually talking about here? Although we can accept metadata records for many different types of content, let us take the example of a journal article. Basic metadata includes things like titles, dates, author names, abstracts, DOI, location URL. And then we also have some additional metadata that includes elements like full text URLs, for example, for similarity check and text mining. You can include these URLs if you wish to participate in the similarity check service, or you want to make sure your content is included when other users check submitted manuscripts for similarity, or do various text and data mining for researchers. We also maintain an expansive set of relationship types to support the various content items that a research object, like a journal article that we're talking about, might link to. All these metadata elements and the relationships that I've been talking so far and that you see now on the screen, they form a network, and we call it the research nexus. So we envision it as a rich and reusable open network of relationships that connect research organizations, people, things, and actions. The foundation of Research Nexus is metadata. So the richer and more comprehensive the metadata in Crossref records is, the more value there is for our members and for the others, including also future generations. Now, we've talked about some key elements to make your metadata rich, and I would like to take a couple of minutes to show you a tool that we have in Crossref for our existing members that can help you visualize how good and healthy your metadata is. This is a public tool, so everyone can access it and search for any Crossref member. I think my colleague Evans, who is also joining us today, is going to briefly drop the link for you in the chat so you can save it for the future. And I'm just going to give you a brief overview. So in order to see how good the metadata is for you, if you're a Crossref member, or for another organization that you're interested in, you might find it a bit confusing using the REST API or looking at the. So that's why we built something more visual. And this is called a participation report. And I'm gonna quick walk you through the interface. So see something like this and the search bar. So you can just start typing a Crossref member name right there. And this will bring you to a, so to say, personal participation report of that member. So when you select the desired organization, you'll see the main page of the report, the information about the organization. Here's an example of one of Crossref members, eLife. And there is a lot of information to look at this report. So we can take a really brief look at each item individually. So you can see there on top, you have the name of the organization, you have the number of the DOIs registered, and you also see each of this metadata element, what percentage of these DOI records registered contain one or another element. And it's not all of the metadata elements that exist in our schema, but these are the ones that we consider to be the most important to make the content more useful and discoverable. These include references, ROR ID, ORCID ID, funding information, URLs for licenses and similarity check services, abstracts, etc. So you will be able to see percentage to each of these elements. You can also look at the data in a different way. So for example, on the right side of the report, you can choose between viewing the statistics for current content items, which is the default setting. It's the items, the content that's been published within the last 2 years. Then you can also toggle between the back file, which is the content older than 2 years, or by old time. It is important to know and the importance of interpretation of these reports, because, for example, content published in 1960 isn't going to have an ORCID ID, for example, and some types of publications don't have abstracts. So it's not really about having all of the indicators up to 100, but more to be able to interpret it based on the content your organization publishes. You can also toggle between different content types. We've been talking about the examples for metadata elements for journal articles today mostly, but if you publish more than one content type, you can also select them here in this yellow box there. You will have available content types such as journal articles, books, reports, and whatever other type your organization might register. Also, if your organization registers, for example, more than one journal, you can use this box in the middle to find results for just a specific journal. And this might be of an interest to some of you if you want to look at the health of this metadata on journal level. Once you've toggled and filtered all of these sections, you will have these percentages towards each of the metadata elements. In the interest of time, I will not go into detailed explanation about all of them, but when you're looking at this report on your own, if you toggle around this black circle with the I, the more info button, you will see an explanation of each indicator, each element, why is this important, how to improve it, and it will link to the documentation on our website that is accessible to you at any time. All right, so yeah, just wanted to give you one last final overview. And you see here that, for example, eLife is one of the member organizations of Crossref that has a really rich and complete metadata. And we hope that most of our members will be registering as much metadata for their records as some of us do. And if you're looking at yours and you see it fairly empty and you're wondering which DOIs are missing certain element and how can I improve it and how can I contribute to the research nexus that we're all building together, you can use this feature to download the gap report that you see here on top of the screen in the yellow box. And there, if you click to download button, you can select for which element you want to download the list with the gaps, and this basically will generate a file for you with all of the DOIs that are missing one or the other element. So after the next session, which is going to be hosted by DOAJ, you will be able to take a look at your own participation reports. We will also send you the link after this event together with the recording, so you can look up your membership account and look at it whenever you wish. And as we're coming to a close with a Crossref session for today, I will pass now to our colleague at DOAJ, and you can always read our documentation on our website, chat with the others at the community forum, or also contact the team directly. Thank you very much. And yeah, passing over to you. Thank you.
So thank you, Marina. So I already said that I'll speak on Director of Open Access Journal, our indexing criteria, and what will be the best practicing publishing practices. As already you attended the Crossref session, and yes, having your journal in Crossref is really important for us also. So I'll just start my presentation. So Madhura, next slide, please. So what is the Director of Open Access Journal? So Director of Open Access Journal, it's a unique and extensive index of peer-reviewed open access journals, and our mission is to raise profile that visibility of quality open access journal, regardless of any discipline, geography or language. So we have like multiple languages journals are indexed in DOAJ. So it started in 2003 at Land University, and Madhura, I am not able to see the full screen. So, Okay, so our criteria for DOAJ is like officially gold standard. So publishing trusted across the scholarly community, and our services and metadata is completely free. So there is no need to pay any money or any fees to get your journal index in DOAJ. As I can see the attendees that lot of publishers are there. So I'll tell you how our indexing, what are our indexing criteria and how you can index your journal in DOJ. So next slide, please. So right now we have 22,168 journals from 140 countries, and languages are, as I already said, that multiple languages are there. So we have 89 languages. So all multilingual journals also get indexed in DOJ. Yeah, okay. So why you should index your journal in DOAJ? Because it's DOAJ. If your journal in DOAJ, it means that your journal meet the good publishing standards, and you can attract more authors and readers around the world. Even in India now, Medical Council of India they have made mandatory that your journal should be indexed in DOAJ. So it's mandatory for us. And as I said, DOAJ includes a lot of journals in local languages also, and it increase discoverability of journals in search engine and other indexing services like even Crossref also you can see that journal is indexed there or no. Then it's enhance the reputation and impact of the journal in your country. And South Africa also, DOJ index included in government list. So most of countries have started their government index that accredited list. So now that list also getting indexed in all DOJ journals are um, getting in that list. So yeah, next slide. So I'll speak what are the basic criteria. So what are journals to be included in DOJ? Yeah. So there should be a correct journal website. So a lot of people are applying in DOJ, but the journal websites are not there. So there should be a dedicated journal URL. So that should be there. Then each journal is available as standalone full text. So like that should be available in HTML or PDF format, and that URL should be unique. So DOI should be there. Then there should be no advertising and all this thing, this one. And language of the journal, that should be similar throughout the journal, because a lot of journals they are applying in DOJ that one article in English, one article in Hindi, one article in another language. So that is not advisable. So you can apply in local languages, but that language should be throughout. So applying multiple language that is allowed, but not within the journal. So, so the journal should be in fully open access, that there be show no embargo or delay or no registration to access. So that should be a fully open access journal. All papers should be open directly. Then open access statement or policy should be displayed on website. So that should be available. And we see that journals have implemented the open licenses, that is a Creative Commons or equivalent license, that should be available on journal website. So the journal should have the editor team, so details of the editor, their title, name, surname, and affiliation. And editor boards information should be available. So normally apply 5 qualified members, and appropriate qualification and expertise is recommended for government board member. But be careful that a lot of journals are applying, they are having the editor board, but same organization. Suppose if university is applying and they are taking all editor board members from the same university, so that is not allowed. Then publisher name and address, that is physical, postal is optional, but that should be there. Then link to the publisher's website. Suppose who are the publishers, because a lot of publishers are publishing the journal in this different countries, so that should be available. Then journal contact person, that dedicated journal email address should be there. And publisher country of the journal application and journal website must be there. So because as I already said that publisher are registered and carried out business activity in different countries. So all information to be available in detail on the journal website. Then what is the aim of the journal? What is the focus of the journal? What is the regions you are covering? So that should be a very clear focus and aim should be there. And actively publish scholarly research, any field, any language, so that scholarly research to be available, not only the descriptive and things are there, so that we are taking care. And at least the journal should publish 5 research articles per year, and if the journal is new, then at least 1 year publishing history should be there, and 10 research OA articles that should be published before the application of the journal. Sorry, actually my things are not working, so I'm outside, so there might be disturbance in the thing. So we see that what is the peer review process has been followed on the journal website. So the journal display all the list of reviewers that must include their names and affiliations, because most of the journals, they are not displaying the who are the reviewers and all these things, so editor members, so that is not there, so that should be displayed. And rigorous review process of all research article, that is journal should apply. And then peer review by at least 2 independent reviewers, that we are encouraging that peer review process to be followed. Then editors review allowed only for the journals in art and humanities. So for the science and technology, engineering, medical, that editor review is not allowed, but art and humanity journals, that editorial review is allowed. Then faculty, if the journal is run by the student, so then if the journal is run by students, then faculty should be monitor that journal. So it's not means we allow that we take the journal run by the student, but we see that faculty should be also get involved. And then peer review policy, so what are the peer review process, so that should be clearly stated on the website, including process of the special issues if it is applicable. Can you, I just mute my mic for 1 minute, I'm getting disturbance.
I think I'm taking over for you. Okay, I think we got Roshali back. We got you back.
Yeah, I got back because
Okay,
I'm
great. I was
outside.
about to step in
yeah,
there as a
yeah,
backup.
yeah. So the next slide. So we always see that there should be a plagiarism policy should be included. It means it's not required that if you don't have the plagiarism policy, then we will not include in DOAJ. But we also always see that there should be a plagiarism policy when journals are applying. So what plagiarism service you are following and what is the protocol you are using. So we encourage to use at least the good plagiarism software like Turnitin and which software you're using. So that information to be available on the journal website. And so the yes, journal should have the international standard serial number. So that is at least one ISSN that should be registered and confirmed on issn.org. That is a mandatory. So ISSN is must be displayed on the website, and the journal name in the application on the website must match what's shown on ISSN. So like your journal is different in ISSN, journal name is different in ISSN and another name on the journal website, that is not allowed. So everywhere your journal should be the same. So we are following that practice. The next slide, please. Yeah, the use of licensing, that that we have, what are the licensing, so how we inform our readers that how may they reuse the content, so that reuse is allowed, not allowed, and we always protect the author right. So DOJ recommend that use of Creative Commons licenses or equivalent. So if you want to apply whatever licensing policy for your journal, just go to the CC licenses and go website, and that is Creative Commons license chooser, and then you can choose your license, and implementing license is no charge. Just go on the CC license creativecommons.org, and you select what type of policy you want to apply for the journal. There is one question and answer type of form, and you just write the what are the benefit, who are the users, and do you want to reuse your content or no, or how you want to do commercially. So accordingly that license will be displayed, and you can state your licensing term on the journal website, and that you can also embed it in full text article, but that is optional. So so we also promote the use of copyright, and copyright, most probably we recommend that copyright should be held by the author or the journal or publisher, but it's always best practice that in open access that author retain the copyright. So their own author work should be preserved, and that should be with them. So but DOAJ also accept the journal where copyright is transferred. So state your copyright policy on the journal website and separate from the website copyright. So if a lot of journals are applying on DOAJ in DOAJ, and they are mentioning that all rights reserved, so that is not appropriate for open access content. So if you're open access publishers, then don't say that all rights reserved. If you are giving the transferring the copyright policy, then state all the terms and conditions, the copyright transfer form and information on the website, and always encourage that author should retain the copyright. So CC/BY licenses will be encouraged in open access publishing. The next slide, yeah. So as I already said that, yeah, there should be article processing charges. Always, I know running a journal, it's like a difficult task, and you need money to manage the website and the journals and all this thing. So yeah, APC, taking APC is always okay, but if your journal is not taking any charges, then that should be must stated. And most of the article that all that should be charged to the author, means must include that how many fees you are taking from author, like submission, processing, APC charges. And a lot of developing countries author, a lot of journals are giving fee waiver. So that should be clearly mentioned on the website, that any fee waiver contents you are giving to the developing country authors. Or sometimes lot of journals are keeping some charges, that if the researchers are submitting the journals, and later on they want to withdraw the journal, but then if there are charges for withdrawing, so that they cannot be exceed the author charges. So that you should take care. But all charges your journal is taking, that should be must display on the journal website. Then yeah, author guidelines are there, that endogeny should be minimized. Means lot of we find that lot of editors are writing the journal articles. So like there are 5 editors are there, and all the articles written by the editor board member, so that we are not allowing. So it's okay that one article is written by the editor. So endogeny should be minimized, so then we can include the journal. So editor board member can be a reviewer, but not 25% either than the two issues. So that should be taken. And it's strongly recommended that articles should be submitted, accepted, and published date. Because we also see that like if any researcher is submitting article on 1st July, and then that is accepted on 8th July, and that is published on like 20 July. So that is not allowed, because that is really not a practice. So we also see that what is the submission period, accepted period, and publication date. So that is recommended to give the article information, submitted, accepted, and published dates. Then so we have the best practice criteria that is optional. Means it's not like that you don't follow this practice, then your journal will be not indexed. But we advise that the long-term archiving and preservation is really mandatory, because once the authors submit the paper in some journals, and after 10 years, if he want to give some interview and he want to go to some, he want to produce the article again, then that time that journal website is not working. So that's why the author also face the problem, and even it's not good for the publication. So we suggest that long-term archiving and preservation in like Keeper Registry or Internet Archive (PMC), it's good. Then self-archiving policies also deposit all the versions. So in IRAs or website, that is also do. And yeah, so like use of DOI already mentioned in Crossref webinar, so that resolve correctly. And regular metadata deposits to DOAJ increase the visibility and impact of published research. So you can upload the metadata. So now we'll go to the best publishing practices in scholarly publishing. So what are the practices? So why the publishing in OA matters? Because it's increase the visibility and impact of the research, particular author or journal. So that's why publishing in OA is matter. It's also promote global equity in knowledge sharing, and it's also enable the reuse and innovation. And now it's mandatory for the funders and mandates that all open access research should be all government funded research should be available in open access. So now mandates are also giving the funds like that only. So that's why publishing in OA it's matter. Then, so what are the key elements? So yeah, there should be OA, open access publishing. So there should be transparency. So I already said that there should be transparency in editorial process, and ethical publishing standards should be followed, and proper licensing, that Creative Commons, use of Creative Commons, that should be there. Then indexing, that journal should be indexed in good platform, that journal should be discoverable. Yeah, you can index in DOAJ, Scopus, Web of Science. So that journal should be get indexed, and that journal should be discoverable. And there should be peer review and data transparency should be available. So so there is a choosing right OA journal. So this is for the researchers. So see, if you want to publish your article in good OA journal, so what you have to do, check if journal is listed in DOAJ, because DOAJ always we have the lot of open access journal, but also from DOAJ you can search. We also have the journals list. If you see that journals who don't charge any EPC, if you click on that criteria, so you will get that journal which are not charging any publication charges. So you can publish your article in that journal, and see that your journal should be listed in COPE, that is Committee on Publication Ethics, and also self-archiving, that previously Sherpa and Romeo, so open policy finder. And also you can verify that editor board, who is the editor board of the journal, what peer review process they are following, what is the APC transparency. Means a lot of journals, when you submit the article, that time they say this will be the APC charges, and then after some days you will get one mail from that journal that no, you have to pay these charges. So always see that APC transparency should be there. So what should be on mentioned on website, the journal follow the same practice. So this is for researchers. So as a researchers, you should avoid the predatory publishers. Lot of predatory journals are rising in India. Yeah, India, because we have the here people publish for Paris, for the promotion and for the sake of promotions and increments and all these things. So lot of people or lot of researchers are in trying to publish in predatory publishers, but then later on their research get no use, so that is not valid. So what are the red flag? That is, the no editor board is available, Then our unrealistic timelines they are providing, like they will send you the mail that send you a paper, we will publish in 8 days. And then sometimes we'll get a mail that in India we get a mail that pay 20,000, 25,000, and your journal will be published, your article will be published in like 1 month or 2 months. And very poor website quality, they put all fake index impact factors and indexed it in this and that. So that should be avoided by the researchers. So the platform that is a think, check, and submit. I have given the link. You can just visit the think, check, and submit.org, and there are the question and answers. You can just follow the question answer, and then you can see that how you can choose the correct journal for the publication. Then there should be
Sorry to interrupt, Vishali. We have
yeah.
like maybe 1 minute or more to
Okay.
wrap up.
So yeah, okay. So yeah, ethical consideration and copyright. So as already said that we use that most Creative Commons licenses are CC BY, and avoid the plagiarism, duplicate submissions, and this is for the journals. So you can just next slide. I think 1 or 2 slides only. So yeah, the journal should be available on the various metadata should be provided. So provide complete metadata for author, ORCID, and deposit papers in IR, and share supporting data, FAIR principles, and deposit data in open repositories. So yeah, so that practice should be followed. And next slide. Yeah. So as all criteria have mentioned, so DOAJ follow all the criteria with good practice and the publishing and the research integrity. And the next slide. So like, yeah, ethics and integrity turn research from transformation in trustworthy knowledge. So that can be safely guide to practice, policy, and future discovery. So yeah, so when we follow all the practices, so I will appeal to all, publish in open access, publish in DOAJ journals, and those who are the publishers, editors here. So you can just apply in DOAJ if you have open access journal. And I think, yeah, I'm done. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vishali. That was excellent presentation, lot of great insights. Thank you to all our previous speakers as well. I see that Marina and Evans have been answering some questions, and Katrine as well. Thank you, Katrine, also for joining and supporting with the DOAJ presentation. Thank you so much. I'm just going to look at the Q&A box in case there are any unanswered questions. I see a question for DOAJ, a couple of questions about So there's a question that says that we applied to DOAJ, but the application was rejected because some of the editorial board members were in blacklisted journals. Can you share a bit more about DOAJ decision making, as DOAJ informed them to reapply after 2 years? And after appealing again, there was an advice to reapply after 3 years. I think there are a few questions about the DOAJ decision making. So if you are able to share some more insights into that, Vishali and Kathleen, that would be really great.
I think Katrine is there from DOAJ, and I think Katrine, you can reply for these questions.
Yes, I think I'm going to bunch some of these together because there's been a few questions around rejections. So the process is when a journal applies to DOAJ, it goes through triage, and triage just like a quick check on some of the basic criteria that Vishali spoke about around, is the journal open access, does it have an ISSN, some of these kind of basic things. At this point, it's not undergoing a full review if some of these questions reveal that the journal is not meeting this criteria. So that will be a rejection at triage, and there will be some information fed back to the journal, though this might be limited because it's not been undergoing a full review. The standard procedure is that a journal is, when a journal is rejected, they can reapply after 6 months, and we encourage them to go and like look at the feedback and make the changes. We
are working on processes to try to make sure that we give more detailed feedback and more guidance in this process. So this is something that's under the way in DOJ now. We've not been able to do this completely because we do get 8,000 journal applications a year, and we have work with a lot of volunteers, but we are a limited team. So that's why sometimes there isn't so much depth in this, and we're not able to do, I think someone asked about this step process. There's a triage, and then if it's the things are resolved in triage, then it's a full review. And here under the full review, there's sometimes a bit of back and forth on clarification. But if there's several things, meaning that we know that this journal will need to do some work and will be rejected, then it will be a rejection with some feedback. In some cases where we find that there's a need to do more in-depth analysis, because there might be signs leading us to think that there's something that needs more analysis. It could be questionable, it could be an innocent mistake. It's really, really hard to know the intent of a journal, which is why we have a quality team investigating such cases. And it's really hard to give a good answer to your question with the limited time that we have. But I would recommend that maybe you email Vishali or myself, and we can give some more in-depth answer, because we also do not discuss single cases publicly. But we have a case in terms of if journals are investigated by the questionable, the quality team as potentially questionable because of links to other journals are questionable, for example, then we could add a longer period of beyond that 6 months. Yes, more detailed answered if you email us, please.
Thank you for that, Katrine. I'd encourage our attendees to reach out to the DOAJ team if you're looking for specific feedback, as Katrine mentioned. We are a little over time. I see that most of the questions have been answered. If there's something remaining that we will look into this and try to reach back out to our attendees. We will be sharing the slides and the recording with the participants after this webinar. And there would be a short feedback survey as well that if you can fill and share with us, that would be really useful. I want to thank all of our speakers today, Dr. Sushil, Marina, Vishali, Katrine, and Evans who was monitoring the chat, for all your help today, and for all the attendees who took out time to participate. I hope you found this webinar useful. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.